In this session, our goal is to create a layout and start defining where our swimming pool is going to be. First step is to make sure we are entering the instant and entering the object itself to allow us to make changes to this particular object. To do so, you take the selection tool, it is located here, or you just press the space bar on the keyboard and then you're going to be able to have the selection tool selected. Go ahead and double click on the object that you want to enter the instant in. So this is the object, double click, and you'll be able to see that you're inside the object by seeing everything else grayed out, and the only thing that is highlighted is going to be the object itself. So our goal now is to create the layout for our swimming pool. And just remember that from this point to this point, it is an extremely large size, meaning if I take the line tool, I can draw a line across. On the bottom right hand corner, it says 283 feet, meaning this is a very, very large backyard. So when you're designing your swimming pool, you do not want to go ahead and create one that is as big as this whole yard because you're going to have a lot of different allocations for different usage for this space. So things to consider when you start designing your backyard swimming pool is things like usage. Who's going to be using it, what zone, and things along those lines. And the shape of the swimming pool, how interactive it is, where it's located, uh, and being able to figure out how deep things are. So for example, if I want to create a section for a little kid, I want to make sure that the depth of that is going to be much more shallow than the depth where the adult will be swimming. So in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and start thinking about the movement and the flow of this location. So for example, if this is where my door is going to be, entering the backyard, I don't want the adult side to be right here because if the kid ran out and just jump into the swimming pool, they will be on the deep end. So what we're gonna do now instead is I want to create an allocated area for the little kid. So I'm gonna click once, draw a little line to the green axis, and look at the bottom right hand corner. It tells you how big it is. I want this to be about 20 feet, or I can type in 20 feet, and I should be able to press enter now, and I have 20 feet long in terms of swimming pool. I want to go ahead and say I want 20 feet by 30 feet. So this swimming pool is really large for the little kids. And I can go and draw my line across. If I go ahead and keep drawing across the green axis, you're going to be able to see it should snap back to something called the red axis, something along this line like that. That's how you know things are squared, meaning it's perfectly 90 degrees from that line. I can now click once, let go, and drag it back and click. Now I have myself a section here for the little kid. And in the adult area, I'm going to continue from there and drag it all the way down this way and make it a lot larger. I want it to be 50 feet. So this is a very big swimming pool. I'm going to draw it across this way and notice how it snapped to my red dot, meaning it's perfectly aligned. That's what I want. But I also want to make this kind of interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw another section here and line up perfectly with this building. So I just hover over and don't click, just literally move your mouse over and slowly move against the red axis. And you're gonna see when green and red touches, that's how you know it's perfectly straight. I want to just create some narrow area here, kind of like for the section for someone to swim this way. Now if I press the selection tool, I can now select this little line, I can delete it, and I now can create that space. So now I have two sections. I have the little kid area and I have the adult area, which is a lot deeper. And then on this side, I want an area for a hot tub as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and line this up, align this to be perfectly over. I click once, create a little gap between the two, and I want a pretty big hot tub as well. I want it to be maybe 15 feet this way, and I'm gonna go ahead and just line it perfectly straight with this particular edge. So I'm gonna go ahead and just move my mouse to that edge and slowly move against that, and I should be able to find my red and green with snaps right there. I can click, and same thing on this side. If the red doesn't come up, just move your mouse up to this corner and slowly move it back down so you can see that it will have a 9-degree square. Cool. Now that I have the shape I want to now define the different zone. So now I have two different zones. Let me go find my model. There it is. I have two different zones. I have the adult zone and I have the little kid zone. So if I click on the zone where it is deepest first. So this section here is going to be the deepest section. That's where the adult zone is at. I'm going to use press P on the keyboard for push and pull, or also it is located here. That's my push and pull. I will hover over to the section I want to essentially extrude or extract. In this case, I want to pull it down. I can click it once, let go of the mouse, and notice I can pull it up now, or I can pull it down. In this case, I want to pull it down. And I want to be very precise in terms of the depth of this thing. So I want it to be 12 feet deep. So that way we can have a diving board in there and people can jump in while hitting the floor. So I want to be 12 feet deep. To do so, I simply type in 12 feet. And you can see in the bottom right hand corner, you're going to see it says 12 feet. I can press enter now, and it will set myself the depth of how deep that section is going to be. The next section here is going to be for the little kid. So I'm going to go ahead and click once, let go, and drag it down. And I'm going to type in 3 feet. So that's going to be for the little kid. For the hot tub, however, we're gonna do something slightly different. I want to create a zone where you can where you can sit down on, another zone for your feet, and another zone just for like dipping if that's what you wanna do. So I'm gonna go ahead and hover over here. Under the push and pull tool, the last one it says offset. So if you click on the offset tool or press the letter F on the keyboard for a shortcut, you can hover over to this hot tub area and we do something called an offset. An offset is just taking essentially all the perimeter lines and copying those lines and expanding it or contracting it. And in this case, I want to contract that by 2 feet. So I click once, let go of the mouse. I can move it. Notice I can move it larger or smaller. In this case, I want to make it smaller. And I type in 2 feet, enter, and I'm going to have myself a 2 feet offset. I'm going to do that one more time. 2 feet, enter, and now I have the different zone. I'm going to go and use the push and pull again. So press P for push and pull. I'm going to click on this zone in the center right here, this area. Press P for push and pull. I can bring that down 3 feet. And I can bring this down 2 feet. And the last one, I'm going to bring it down 1 foot. So what this will allow me to do is create the different zone to allow me to figure out where you're sitting, where you put your feet. Maybe you want to do a little dip in the hot tub, things along those lines. So with that being said, we now have the definition and the cutout for our swimming pool. In the next section, we're going to go ahead and review how to create steps, ramps, and also add in material and also add in water as well.